Welcome to the David Corn
and Richard Miniter show here at Johnny and the Half Shell on Capitol Hill for Pajamas Media. David, what are we talking about this week?
Well, there's a lot that happened this week. The scandal of the U.S. attorneys being fired blew up with Karl Rove and
the scandal. Listen to him.
Well, hey, it's Republicans calling for Gonzalez to resign now, not just Democrats.
Since when is it a scandal to fire some bureaucrats?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a scandal to lie about it. It's always a lie. You know that. It's always a lie. Bush was in.
You guys can't get Nixon out of your mind.
Bush was in Latin America on this never-ending tour there, picking lettuce in Guatemala, whatever he was doing. But we're here to talk about.
He's looking for an honest job.
Well, finally, maybe he'll get one. One up to his abilities. And now we're going to talk about presidential politics. And a lot happened this week. Both Alberto Gonzalez and Karl Rove got in the line of fire in the U.S. attorney scandal that's developing.
Well, I'm hearing that Gonzalez is in a lot of trouble.
He's in a lot of trouble, and this is getting closer to Karl Rove, despite his his protesting that it's just politics. General Pace said something on homosexuality, got a lot of attention, and Bush is God knows where. He seems on this never-ending trip in Latin America. But I think we're here to talk about presidential politics.
Absolutely. We got the new Pajamas presidential straw poll, and you can vote as often as you like, as long as you like to vote once a week for each candidate. We see once again Bill Richardson on the Democrat side is in the lead. He's got a commanding 48% of the vote on the Pajamas poll. What do you make of that?
And well, the thing is that Hillary Clinton has 5.8% of the vote. So I think it shows you that whoever's voting on the Democratic side is not representative of the Democratic primary voting base.
Or could it be that the Democrats on the internet are think a little differently than the Democrats who are offline?
Well, that may be. Barack Obama still comes in second, and John Edwards is far behind. And Edwards actually has done well, I think, with the bloggers, with some of the Democratic bloggers on the internet.
But he's still John Edwards.
He's still John Edwards.
And that's what's killing him.
Bill Richardson is still Bill Richardson, and
Bill Richardson's a pretty exciting governor. He hasn't raised taxes. He's been pretty innovative in New Mexico.
He's negotiated deals with North Korea, Syria, and was at the UN, which I know conservatives love. Richardson, I think.
No, but there's good reasons for Democrats to like.
No, certainly, and he is an attractive guy, a good campaigner. And
the Atkins diet really did well for him.
I think if you had to pick sort of a dark horse, the conventional dark horse right now is Bill Richardson. Maybe the poll reflects that. On the Republican side, though, we see again one of the big front runners, John McCain, is down at 1.8%. Maybe you can tell me what that's about. But Mitt Romney.
Well, I think part of what's driving his numbers down is he's seen as old. He's seen as having some fundraising problems. I mean, he's put so many people on the payroll in Iowa, New Hampshire, in Michigan, and other states. It looks like the Straight Talk Express is running out of coal. I mean, there's only so much money, and
hitting too many curves.
Well, maybe that's it. But I mean,
maybe he has to go hybrid. What about ethanol? He can take up on ethanol when he goes up to Iowa. But
I think ethanol will do about as well for him as it's done for everyone. No. It sounds good, but it doesn't go anywhere fast.
Yeah. What do you think was the big presidential news of the week? I have my own idea.
Well, let's hear your idea.
California. The primary has been moved to February 5th, which is very early in the cycle. It means you're going to need a lot of money. It's going to help some of the front runners, and it may help Giuliani a lot. I think of all the guys, he may be the big winner because that's one state where being a social conservative as a Republican doesn't help you, and of course he's not. And this past week, before this move was made, he racked up a whole bunch of California endorsements. Congressman Dreyer from Orange County,
David Dreyer,
who's kind of a more moderate liberal, not liberal, more moderate Republican. But he also racked up some local people there who are very conservative and social conservatives. So I think California moving to the very beginning of the pack is good news for Giuliani.
It may well be good news for Giuliani, but I think the big news of the week, which is also incidentally good news for Giuliani, and I should say that neither David nor I get paid by Giuliani.
Although we are open to that.
Well, you've left. You guys on the left. You're
the price is right.
You're so corruptible. Anyway, no, I think the big news of the week is right here in Washington. I think it's good for Giuliani, and that is the D.C. Circuit Court eliminating the gun ban and saying that this individual right, the Second Amendment is an individual gun right. It's being appealed to the entire D.C. Circuit, going en banc. If it passes that and the District of Columbia is reckless enough to go to the Supreme Court, gun rights activists are optimistic the Supreme Court would rule in their favor and that gun control would have vanished in the United States. Now that would be huge news for Giuliani, because he is seen as a gun control advocate. That would take that issue off the table and make it easier for the right to embrace America's mayor.
Really, but he would still have to say that he didn't agree with this, unless he's willing to flip-flop.
Well, he could just say he endorses the positions of the United States Supreme Court, like any law-abiding chief executive.
Well, yes, but if you ask him, you want to have gun control, I mean, well, yeah, I think you may be right, but it also would make...
This might take, I'm not saying this is going to take the issue, it could potentially take the issue off the table. The guys at the NRA are throwing their hats in the air and, who knows, shooting shotguns for all I know, in happiness.
That's what that sound was. And okay, so on the Democratic side, do we have any big moments of the week? It's, it still seems to me like it's a fight between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And the spin I'm getting from some people very close to Hillary in recent days is that, well, yeah, Barack Obama's a good guy. Not a lot of difference in positions between him and us, but she's ready to hit the ground running. The Bush administration has made such a mess of everything. You need somebody there without training wheels, and she'll be there with Bill Clinton. So it's back to 2 for the price of 1, and I think this is a talking point that they're using now.
I don't know, David. I think that might hurt him. I mean, I don't think that's that attractive outside of the DNC, because the American people generally don't want aristocratic families running the country. We've had alternating Bushes and Clintons.
I know. Well,
and do we want another Clinton to continue the dynasty? Dueling dynasties is not an attractive trait in American politics.
Well, tell that to Jeb Bush.
Well, he's not running, and not only is he not running, he's openly not running. He's not running. He's no longer governor of Florida. He's not running for president. He doesn't have an exploratory committee. He's not even hinting. In fact, he's openly saying, "Hey, I'm not running."
One last thing: social conservatives on the Republican side. It seems to me they still.
Well, there aren't too many on your side.
It seems to me that they still don't have a candidate, and they can't all go with Giuliani on principle. Some make the tactical decision to do so. Same thing with John McCain. They're yearning. Even maybe Fred Thompson, is talking about him getting in the race. The guy who once was a senator before he was an actor playing senators. What do you think about the social conservative dilemma here?
I don't know if it's that much of a dilemma. I mean, adult politics is always about unhappy choices. And I think most people who are social conservatives realize that Giuliani is the best in an imperfect world. He is certainly winning over a lot of support, especially from social conservative donors. As we've written about here in Pajamas Media, the head of the Michigan Republican Party said among his 2 largest social conservative donors to the party in that state have embraced Giuliani. These are guys with pictures of Jerry Falwell on their walls.
Very interesting to see how this plays out, whether the people at the top of the social conservative movement are in sync with what you call the grassroots social conservatives. Can they sell Giuliani to the flock?
That is the big question. Well, also the other question is, are social conservatives growing up politically and becoming much more politically astute?
And voting for people who are in favor of abortion rights. I'm all for that type of maturity.
Well, let's see if the party that embraces abortion has enough voters to continue its dynasty compared to the party that doesn't.
Well, that's all the time we have now. Until next time, I'm David Corn.
And I'm Richard Miniter. Thanks for joining us here at Pajamas Media.